Bat music.
He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Hello, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Returns, the podcast where we shake the clammy dead hand of Tim Burton's 1992 Batman movie, Batman Returns, 1 minute at a time. I almost said 1989 there. I was like, it's like, hope nobody noticed it. But anyway, I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And it is I, the cream of film investigative talent, John Parker.
The cream will rise to the top.
The cream will rise to the top. Hell yeah. Ooh, yeah.
And once again, we are joined to ascend from the Gotham sewers into a kind of relatively nice-looking apartment. We have, for the final time this week, Bryarly Bishop.
Hello. Happy to be back. All about cats.
That's the thing, though, because I do have a kind of creeping sense of dread in the fact that, like, I know John really, really loves his cat. And I know a bunch of our upcoming guests are really cat people as well. And it's like, I am indifferent to cats.
I also have and love cats. And that was my second thought about this. So my first thought was, that's not much of a reaction to shaking a dead hand. Especially of your however much partner. And my second thought was, she's giving her cat milk. That cat is going to have diarrhea.
Yes. I made that note, right? I don't care if we're jumping ahead. It's a big no-no. You don't give your cat
dairy.
Cow milk.
No.
They don't have dairy. They don't have the lactose. No, don't do it.
They're like lactose intolerant. They don't like lactose, and they won't stand for it.
And lactose intolerance now.
But yeah. Well, before we get into cat chat down in a couple of seconds' time. But yeah, we do have...
That's my other podcast.
I genuinely wouldn't be stunned. I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. Because like, I know that John's cat has its own Instagram. It's like I've seen this. I've been like, how does...
She does?
How does it... It doesn't even have opposable thumbs. How is it friggin' typing up...
Yeah. And she's got more followers than me and Bat Minute.
What? Oh, man, I'm taking this... I'm making a point of taking this cat down now.
She's got a lot of followers.
I've been around your house.
Quick question, not important. What's your cat's handle?
It's Drusilla. Drusilla, as in the character from Buffy.
That was actually, I forgot to mention that in the last or in the first minute, and that brought up that whole business about Vincent Schiavelli voicing Zatanna's dad. Oh my god, this is derailed the podcast now. This is going to be all friggin' like, look. We're still talking about this hideous deformed penguin man in the sewer for at least another couple of minutes.
Right, yeah, sorry.
But
love you, Drew.
So pretty.
Let's go friggin' the next season. I was like, the cat's gonna be a co-host of this friggin' podcast because it's going that way.
You need the followers.
But anyway, yeah, we do get Shrek pitching this whole like, this homecoming scenario and whatnot. The penguin really kind of like the really demented grin he's got in his face of like, oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. We'll also note as well, for probably something he found just lying around in a dirt heap. That's a pretty comfy looking robe the penguin's got going. Because I don't think we see it again for the movie. I think that's the last we see of the robe. And
I want a replica of it, I'll be honest.
It looks like a nice robe. Like, the penguin does look a man, because his fashion sense is very, like...
specific.
Yeah, it's very onesie and, like, nice, long, furry kind of things. So I imagine that's probably pretty comfortable. Like, he's probably got a nice, like... he's no tight, denim jeans, nothing of that well-known nonsense.
You're a man I could imagine in that outfit now.
But I
could picture you wearing that robe.
Oh yeah! I'm go out of my way to find this robe as well.
I'd be more of a Max Schreck and then sometimes a Catwoman. But, you know.
Oh, the thing is, Max Schreck is like, we'll talk to it when he has a specific suit in this movie, which is like, that is amazing. I love everything about it. But
yes, I know.
That's it's not for a while yet, that one. But yeah, and then we get this nice little joke, which I remember loving this as a kid. It still really works. But again, it's very much like this was marketed towards, it had a lot of merchandising for children. You had a scene of him handing, doing a handshake by handing the dismembered hand of some guy.
And it's very much a non-reaction from Max. Like, he just sort of, like, looks at it.
I'd have been screaming the house down, I'll be honest. But at the same time, this is possibly one of the funniest things in this movie. It still, to this day, cracks me up beyond belief.
It could be that he's looking at it, been like, I spent so much time trying to flush this friggin' hand down the toilet, and here it is again. It's like the hand came back. Like the hand came back the very next day.
Well, have you ever... Right, I've done this before. This is going to sound awful. Sometimes I'm chewing gum, and I'll go to the bathroom, and I think to myself, I'll just spit the gum in the toilet. I've done it in the past. I'm not saying I do it now. Like when I'm a teenager, and then it doesn't flush properly. I don't know if it's a UK thing. We have crap sewers or something. I don't know. So imagine trying to flush an arm.
I can say with confidence that hand would not go down.
No.
You do have a lot of dismembering and flushing experience, though, Bryarly. Like, as people follow your social media.
Just like, like a tampon won't flush. So a hand, even larger, even more stiff, definitely not going to work.
Wouldn't think so, unless there's a technique. Maybe there's a special technique he can do to kind of help it.
Maybe
ease
he
it down.
sewed the hand. That would have been creepy if, like, not only did he have to put the shredded paper back together, but the hand was like broken up into teeny tiny pieces, and he's actually Frankensteined it back.
Oh, he sellotaped it together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would have been even a better scene had they presented him with the entire body and he had stitched it all back together. But I will note, though, in the comic adaptation, again, for kids, they'll do like, here's an adaptation of the movie in comic book form, and it's very notable in this joke that the hand is very much like a nice pink, healthy looking hand, and you never see the end of it. It almost looks as if it could be still attached to somebody. So don't.
Oh, that's rubbish.
Don't be showing that friggin', because you'd have to get some guy in to draw the torn up, sinewy end of the arm and stuff, and he's just.
But that's why it's funny.
Yeah, oh, totally, yeah. But again, just like, oh, that's for kids, we can't have that there. But
kids.
They try to get around it, and it's a pretty nice joke. Talking about the lack of reaction, though, in the shooting script, it does mention that the entire room here is supposed to burst out into laughter, like all the gang. And then Shrek, it says Shrek offers a weak giggle. So I guess it's him kind of like he's trying to play along and be like, yeah, this is funny, yeah,
hilarious.
I'm glad that's not in there. I feel like that would have been very disturbing.
Oh yeah, but it's disturbing enough, to be fair, in a lot of ways. But
I actually have a question, a semi-serious question about what's going on here. Right, we've talked about the Penguin already having his scheme together under the surface. But do you think that Max is already formulating his plan here?
Definitely.
Or is he just saying this stuff to butter the Penguin up and get out of this situation?
I think as soon as he got dragged down into a sewer, he began thinking of revenge. This is a very slippery, corrupt man. Like, he's certainly been intimidated before, and he's certainly the implication is that he has killed his partner. I suspect that he has had other people killed also.
Yeah. I mean,
I think the
way he's disposed of this guy, that can't be the first time, sure.
Yeah, right. The wheels have got to be set in motion.
Yeah, I would also agree. Like, I think that's we've got the setup already. Previous in the movie that Max Schreck and the mayor don't get along, and the mayor's forbidding Max Schreck from doing something that he wants to do. But I think at the minute he's probably just like, oh, I'll just say anything to get out of it. I think I'll organize something for this guy to get out of it. But then he's probably already got wheels in motion of like, there's a way I can spin this for me.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, completely.
That's interesting because, I wasn't sure. Like, he's the kind of guy who probably would immediately come up with the plan.
Yeah.
Like, to spin it his
and
way.
He's
but at
gotten
the same
this
time,
far. He's got to be somewhat intelligent.
Well, oh, he's very smart.
Yeah.
Very, very smart guy. And I did also think that maybe he's just saying it to get out of a situation. Because I've been there. Like, I can't say too much. Through my work, someone once essentially tried to kidnap me. And
Wait, what?
I've told you about this, Niall.
I'm finding out you got attacked by a goose in the park. What? I don't remember you telling me this.
It was in the same park.
Oh my
We can
God!
cut this bit out.
Don't go there
we can cut this bit
anymore.
out. But yeah, basically, someone followed me from work, and he was going to murder me. But he came up to me and he told me, like, the voices are telling him to do this,
Lordy.
but he doesn't want to do it
Oh, crap.
because he's a nice guy and he doesn't know what to do. So I had to sweet talk my way out of this situation where this guy wanted to kill me but didn't want to kill me.
Oh, wait a minute.
That was a very different...
Was this guy you had running for mayor a couple of years back?
Yes!
Oh, now I remember this. Yeah, that was
No. No, that bit's not true. But the rest of it is. So yeah, I thought maybe it's a similar thing. You know, he's in a difficult situation. He doesn't know if he's going to get out of it in one piece. You say some things to just butter them up.
Oh, totally. Oh, I get that. Yeah, but yeah, well, good job by Shrek. Good job by you, John, for still.
It worked out quite well. Yeah.
That's like you were saying, like, sometimes you just have to say things to get out of situations. I'd be like, remember that time? I was like, hey, John, we should do a podcast about doing that, and you were just like, yes. Like,
if only I'd gotten out of it. I'm stuck here, bloody a year and a half later.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to leave the sewers here for a while now. But I will say, just before we go, just particularly seeing the roof in this shot, fantastic set, by the way. Just
God, yes.
Really very...
phenomenal.
Very German, expressionistic, almost sort of like it's almost kind of like an MC Escher kind of vibe to it as well. Like, it's very, very strange and very striking. Absolutely
Do you know
love it.
where this was shot?
Well, you mean like the actual... Like,
was it a studio? Was it, did they go down into a sewer?
Oh, no, it's totally a studio stuff. Like, because it was very specifically, like, designed. Like, it was, this is Tim Burton, but, like, they're giving me free reign over this one, so I am going to town. It's like, it can't just be a sewer. It has to be, like, the craziest, weirdest, gothy, Tim Burton-y looking sewer you can possibly imagine.
Well, but then you go from that to, as you said, we're leaving the sewers. We go to a completely different setting because we see Selina arriving back at her house, her apartment.
It's very clever
and this
transition.
I
mean, because it stays dark, you know.
But it just looks very... I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong. I think we're meant to think it's crappy, but it's very normal, very plain.
I think you say, Bryarly, it stays dark. I made the specific note. There's a light been left on the whole day. It's like, who?
I meant I don't mean like the apartment stays dark. I mean it goes from the sewer to this apartment that's like mostly dark. I mean, she turns on 2 lights when she gets home.
Yeah.
So just as like an editing, because I've done some editing. It's just like, well done, good transition.
Hey, actually, Niall, you said that, but I leave lights on for my cat.
Actually, yeah, fair enough. Maybe for the cat.
Because despite the fact cats have very good night vision, she doesn't really like the dark. She's basically a little baby. She doesn't really get on with it. She likes the light.
Like, what was the Instagram handle for the cat again, John? Just make sure
it's Drusilla.
Make sure everyone gets it this time.
Yeah.
It's like, why are we getting followers for this cat? Like, why isn't this cat working for us? Like, what's...
It can work both ways, man.
Don't hit on the cat. Don't hate the player. Hate the cat.
Exactly.
Like, I just need to start posing in similar... I'm not even on. My Instagram
that would be quite funny.
Yes, do very feline poses, Niall. Go on.
That's because I'm not really on. It's beyond the show. Like, that's my window into Instagram. Is like, and then we added Bryarly, and I was shocked to see, because last time I really saw you, Bryarly, like in a visual medium, was like way back when you used to have that very distinctive Bryarly Bishop haircut that was there for ages. Yeah, and I was seeing the hair was long. I was like, "Who the hell is this?" And I was like, "Oh my god,
Yep.
it's gone! The haircut is gone! Oh my god, it was there for so long, but it's finally grown out." I was
Yeah,
stunned.
I have a 5-year hair plan. It is quite the departure that I'm happy to share. So like when I first moved to LA, the only parts that I was getting to audition for were because I had short hair and I'm very tall. I only got called in for like drug addict, lesbian, ex-drug addict, lesbian, and that was it. For like the first year. And so finally I was like, oh, forget this, and stopped doing on camera altogether, and decided to grow my hair out. So that's why. It's just so that I can audition for more things, because it's a very weird archetypal thing. And like lots of assumptions made. But my plan is to grow it out. It's got a bit of dye in it right now, so grow it out so that there's no more dye, and then curl it, and then shave, do like a half side, and then and then dye the whole thing pink, and then shave it all off and start from the top.
Oh,
that sounds amazing.
It'll probably take a few years.
I approve.
Oh.
Yes. Did you say 5-year hair plan? Because
That's a guess, yeah.
That's very Soviet.
Is it?
I like this. The Soviet Union's 5-year plans. Yeah. Yes, that's how they organized the nation, was 5-year plans of different things like agriculture.
That's how
no
long it
idea.
took. That's how long it took Stalin to get that mustache the way he liked it. It's like it was part of.
Yes, his 5-year mustache plan. Exactly.
You got to be specific. You got to plan these things out. Know who you are.
Yeah, but like year 2, you see the pictures. It was like, oh, it's a patchy mess, man.
In this, sorry, squeaky chair. In this scene, so she does turn the lights on, and then she's like, honey, I'm home. I assumed she was talking to her cat, and so when she's like, oh, I forgot, I'm not married. Has she been married, or is she just like a bit, is her mind just a bit off?
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's like, that's a weird thing to forget.
Mm.
Yeah, and then is it a joke for herself? Like, is this post fall, this scene? Or is she just sad?
Yeah,
she's just sad. So I just assumed it was like a gag, like making fun of herself. She can't get a guy,
How on
or
earth
whatever.
could that be true? Is the thing.
That's the thing. I mean, they've tried to dress her down, but it doesn't work. She's incredibly stunning.
Yeah, you could put her in a potato sack, and people would still be lining up.
well, that's the thing though, because of the oh, honey, I'm home. Oh, I forgot I'm not married. Which is like, I always like that line. That is like a really. Like it's, I think that's just Selina's sense of humor. Is like, yeah, she says that, and as we'll see later on, she probably says it every day, like that, because it seems to be like this is very much a routine she's in. But
it's just a weird thing to happen. Like I don't know anybody who does that. Maybe that's
Yeah.
why, is that she's mildly schizophrenic. Like it's not that she's not attractive, it's that she even before the cats, she just is a little crazy.
yeah,
I could buy that, and then what happens to her soon? Spoiler, it brings that out of her. It was
Exactly.
always there,
Right.
yeah.
underneath.
Like she was never quite stable.
Yeah,
But I did decide though, like, I was wondering, like, who at the time was Michelle Pfeiffer hooked up with? Like, what is her relationship status? And it was actually quite interesting because previously she had.
it's a cat, right?
No, she had previously been married to an actor called Peter Horton, who apparently was one of the stars of 30 something, which I've never seen.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, he heard a who. Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, but he's also in like the Gina Davis show, and he's the guy from Children of the Corn. Like he's the adult who's there.
Oh, okay.
But then she was married to him for a bit. They separated.
So apparently she had an affair. She was having an affair, I guess, at the time. With John Malkovich.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, I don't want to knock John Malkovich, but come on.
They're going to risk everything for this guy?
The thing is, yeah, he's so creepy. John Malkovich is a relentlessly creepy man.
She seems to like creepy things. I mean, the next thing is like she was on like a blind date to see Dracula.
But yeah, that's like at this point, and this is the one I found really weird, is the fact that like, oh, they're positing in this movie that Selina Kyle can't, a woman as attractive as her seems to be a bit of a loser in love. It's like, that doesn't seem... I mean, I guess it happens, but in fact, in real life, around this time, Michelle Pfeiffer was hooked up with Fisher Stevens, who is like, if people know Fisher Stevens predominantly for being the white guy they browned up to play the Indian guy in Short Circuit, which is like it must be the last real, like, holy crap, that is so blatantly racist, but it was in a major motion picture. And when I was a kid...
Yeah, and I didn't...
Yeah, didn't know. When I was a kid, I was like, oh...
I didn't know.
But like, then find out years later, but like, because I've seen Fisher Stevens in loads of stuff. He's in... Fans of Hackers will know. He plays the Plague in Hackers. And he's in, like, nice trifecta sitcoms. He's in... he was a psychic investigator in Frasier. He was a psychologist in Friends. He was one of Phoebe's boyfriends. He was the one who kept coming in and like psychoanalyzing all the friends, and then just end up really hating them at the end and stuff. And then he's the restaurant critic in It's Always Sunny when they kidnap him and stuff. But then the thing was, like, I was around that, my early 20s or whatever, when I was like, oh, this guy keeps popping up and stuff. Who is he? I looked him up, and they're like, yeah, that's the guy from Short Circuit. I was like, what? That guy wasn't an Indian guy? That's crazy. How the hell did they get away with that? Well, that's so wrong. But
man,
well, there is a great gag about that in Thingy, Master and Non, isn't it?
But yeah, also, so she was hooked up with Fisher Stevens again. But the thing is, because Fisher Stevens, not the best, not the most dynamic looking guy. He's just a very average looking man. So it's like, oh, he was really swinging above his weight there. That's like,
I mean, to be fair,
she likes to
a lot
rough
of the
it.
time, like, very handsome men are either very boring or very involved in themselves. And I'm not gonna say that I'm on Michelle Pfeiffer's level, but I think I'm reasonably attractive. And I've been single like 5 years, so sometimes it's just one of those things.
Well, I guess so.
My impression was that, like, she was worked so, like, she was like worked too hard by her employer, and that's why she doesn't have a personal life. Is that she's just like really taken advantage of and overworked.
Yeah, well, look at what time she's getting home.
Yeah.
It looks very late out.
Also mention though, because we like to do the everything's connected. Going back to Peter Horton, he also directed her in an ABC after-school special called One Too Many, co-starring with Val Kilmer, who would, of course, go on to be Batman. And then again, nowadays, Michelle Pfeiffer is currently married, and she's married to David Kelly, who, of course, like, a lot of people, if you don't know the name, you know his stuff. He's the guy who created, what's the list? Like, Ally McBeal, created Big Little Lies, big hit there recently. The Practice, Chicago Hope, Boston Public. And he's doing that Stephen King adaptation, Mr. Mercedes, with Brendan Gleeson, which I'm a fan of. It's very good. I recommend that to people.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Boston Legal. I was excited.
I almost did. That's the thing. It's like, is it Boston? And then double checked, like, oh, it's Boston Public. Sorry. But yeah, so like, David Kelly, very successful guy, and apparently, they've been married quite a while now. So I hope they're very happy together. So Michelle Pfeiffer in her actual life can wander in through that door and do a "Honey, I'm Home," and it will not be falling on deaf ears. So,
yay for her.
She's talking to the cats as well, even though it's not directed at them. She knows there's cats around. Look at all the cat stuff going on.
Yeah.
There's toys, there's beds, there's all kinds of things.
I worry about this cat, like, going out from her, like, presumably onto her fire escape in this big city where there's, like, toxic waste and stuff. I mean, she's just, top to bottom, a very irresponsible cat owner.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you people, like, I felt bad, like, you people, but like, you and John as cat lovers would be very much like, oh, look for the cat's welfare. But my main thing was like, she's had to leave that window open in the dead of winter in their massive friggin' wooden floored apartment. That is
none of it
freezing.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cats like heat. You can buy beds that are heated for your cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, too, you're in Gotham City, the most crime-riddled city in America. Why would you leave your window open all day? Like,
that's inviting trouble in Gotham.
Yeah. So it's like,
she doesn't have like a watch cat. That cat is not going to help if somebody tries to invade the house.
Oh, it might do. You don't know. It might have been patrolling.
Oh
Cats
gosh,
have their
that's true.
territory,
That's
don't
true.
they? Yeah. In fact, all her cat stuff made me think. I was just in, as I said in a previous minute, I think I was in Cyprus recently. And I went to a cat park where there were over 800 stray cats that they'd taken in and were looking after. And you could go and see them all and stroke them, and you get mobbed by like 50 cats at once. God. And it was incredible. And I felt like Selina Kyle.
Was it in a nice way, or was it just kind of... Because I like cats, but I don't want to be mobbed by 50 of them.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was. I was in.
You should have done a picture though. You should have got like a little bit of like fake blood on your head, and then taken a photo of you just lying on the floor with all the cats coming there and nibbling your fingers and stuff.
Yes. Oh my God, that would have been amazing.
Next time.
I might have looked a bit psychotic to all these Cypriots, like.
No, they'd have seen Batman.
But yeah, I just like Michelle's performance here, though, because she's very successfully conveying like that kind of like, oh, my dogs are barking, kind of like.
She's limping even.
Yeah. I think that might be an allusion to a cut scene from earlier in the movie when she's like sort of briefly sort of held hostage by that clown guy. There's a joke about her breaking her heel. I think that might be.
Yeah, okay.
Again, though, until doing research for this, I always assumed it was a limp from I've been walking around all day and I'm just absolutely exhausted and stuff.
I don't know why the first thing she does isn't take off her heels. Yeah. Even before turning the lights on, that would be move one.
Yeah, that seems to be what most people do is you get in, heels off, instant.
Heels off, bra off, forget it. Maybe not for you, but I take my bra off.
The cat comes in, she has a little bit of a back and forth, just chit-chatting with the cat. And she also has a thing, too. A misheard line from when I was a kid. Or not even so much misheard, as when she bends down to put in that milk. I always thought that was just a general sort of like, when you're a bit older and you're just back sore and you kind of bend down to do anything, you're just like, oh, that kind of a thing. But apparently what she's actually saying, oh, drink your dinner. Which is like, in the script, she's actually going, oh, drink your dinner. And just, it's mid-conversational flow. Yeah. And I never knew that until having a look at this movie minute by minute.
Combined with the back page.
So, we spent some time in Selina Kyle's apartment for next week, so I guess we don't need to go into too much further detail. Plus, I know, Bryarly, you're on the clock, so don't want to keep you too long. But we'll ask though, just out of interest, like, so you as a woman in your mid-20s coming into Batman Returns with no prior knowledge to it, what did you think of this film? What was the verdict?
Generally speaking.
Yep, just generally the whole thing. What did you make of it?
Yeah, and keep in mind this is my favorite one.
I just thought it was odd. Mainly, it was the initial takeaway, and also the main thing that struck me was like, I know it's supposed to be for kids, and it's like supposed to be, if not a comedy, to have like comedic elements, but the whole thing just made me very sad. Because all of the characters seem so tragic. Nobody is happy. Nobody is having a good time in Gotham. It just kind of stressed me out. Yeah,
that is true. Because I do always regard like the end of this movie ends in such a very, because even the music's so tragic as well. It really ends on this real bummer note of just like, Bruce Wayne thought he could have been happy there for a second, but nah, everything went wrong. It's like, and then you kind of leaves you with this, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, still Batman. And just like, oh, yay, I guess.
Yeah, right, exactly. That was, I think, my main was just like, okay.
Oh, that's sweet of you, though.
I guess so.
What did you make of the sort of a feminist icon character of Catwoman? What did you think of the portrayal of the? Do you think it was over? Because I know, like, I've heard people say it's a bit too overtly sexualized and whatnot. Like, did you have any beef with it, or were you like, no, this is great?
Well, I thought that the way that she played it was very good. Like, the kind of, because like, yeah, she's sexual, but she's also very obviously deranged, like unhinged. So the sexuality to me doesn't come across as sexy. It comes across as kind of like I pity it in a way. Because sexuality can be empowering, but when it is a symptom of a mental illness, then it's not really. It's just like she's trying to use a weapon that she no longer has, and it is sort of like I understand it, but it just is a bit. I don't know. It's hard for me to view it as sexy because I find it again I just find it to be such a tragic character.
Oh, no, I get that, yeah.
And also, just quickly, because last year we asked the question, Jack Nicholson, sexy or no? This year, Chris Walken, what sexy or no?
I don't personally find him sexy, but I will say that he's very compelling, and has a weird sort of like one of those controlled power snake-like auras, like he's a bit Cobra-y, especially like with those kind of cold eyes that he has, which to me is not sexy, but could be to other people. Like, I also don't think that Benedict Cumberbatch is attractive. I'm also not attracted to Loki, but I see like some people like find I guess like Power like super hot, and but I don't physically find him attractive, and while I can see how you could find his, like, deliberateness sexy, it is not to me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's a fair answer. Yeah. That's a fair answer. But, I think a lot of people just like, much like Jack, actually, that it's the charisma, isn't it?
Yes, I could see that being a thing. I just, it's just not for me.
No, but things like that's what I always. I find him. You say charisma. I said no. He's this intensely creepy man, and it's like,
he's creepy.
Because like it's because of the way he smiles. Yeah. Like Walken doesn't really smile most of the time, so it's not as creepy. Like the smile is a bit of a threat in a way, like. But if he's not smiling, he's not trying to get anything from you, and so then you can decide if you want to get closer or not.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I don't know.
But yeah, does anyone have anything else for this minute, or are we good to let you go? Because
I had one tiny note that I forgot to mention, that I really like the attention to detail in her apartment, because on the right hand side there, you can see there's some books, and one of them is a book about houseplants, which I thought was telling because it reveals a lot about how she's living. She's cooped up in this little apartment. It's definitely not a house. She definitely doesn't have a yard, a garden, nothing like that. She's stuck in. She has to deal with this very enclosed space. And I think that helps with her emotional state. Like, she's trapped.
I really thought you were just going to say that it meant that she and Poison Ivy were totally going to be friends.
Well, that would be great too.
Because it could have been a fifth movie. They could have made it work. But yeah, speaking of which, this is I have to say goodbye to you, Bryarly. You've done your duty for this movie. Would you be interested in coming back for Batman Forever once we have to jump into that very, very different movie?
Sure. Yeah, why not? It's fun talking to you guys. I'm not as much of a Batman fan, but I do like obviously analyzing things and giving my opinion. If you want me back, I'd be happy to be back. Come back.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Well, would you like to tell our listeners where they can get in touch with you if they'd like to check out anything you're up to?
Absolutely. If you want to find me on the internet, I'm at Bryarly Bishop on Instagram and Twitter. My website is bryarly.com. YouTube is /Bryarly. I don't think I have any new projects coming up at the moment, but if I do, you'll find bits and pieces of them most likely on Instagram. Also, my cat. I post a lot of stories of my cat. She's amazing.
Yes.
Next year is going to be a podcast of like you're a cat and Drusilla the cat's just meowing.
My cat's quite quiet. She makes little bird sounds. She likes to she runs to the door when I get home, and it was very adorable. So my roommate for a bit was directing a camp over the summer, and she apparently memorized his schedule, so without me noticing. And once I had a friend over, we were hanging out on the couch, and around 5 or 6 p.m. she got up, my cat got up and walked over to the door and sat down about 2 feet away from it and just looked at the handle. And it was odd enough that we both turned, and my friend commented on it and asked, what is she doing? What's going on? And I was like, I don't know, because I hadn't heard anything. And then when I looked at the clock, I noticed it was the time that my roommate usually got home, and that she had somehow like internalized that and knew that he was going to be back soon and had gotten up to go and wait for him. And 5 minutes later, he walked in the door.
Cats are so good with routine.
They really
are. Crazy.
They really are. You don't even need an alarm clock if you have a cat.
No.
So you guys say that though. Like my immediate thought in that situation would have been like, "Oh, it's a ghost. There's a ghost. Something ghost." I've seen so many like, "Oh, my apartment's haunted." The cat goes and stares at this picture every. You know.
They get really obsessed with bugs. I mean, it's really cute. Like if she's chasing a fly or something, she'll try to get it on her own. But then when she can't, she like makes the meow sound that she makes if she's like stuck somewhere or needs my help.
Oh yeah.
So if she's chasing a fly,
she wants you to come and do it.
She gets she's like, Mom.
Oh,
it's really sweet.
Oh, it's adorable.
My roommate's cat plays fetch.
But on that note, we should depart and let everyone enjoy their weekend. And make sure you come back to us on Monday because we will have more Bat Minute. We will be on minute 25 of Batman Returns. And in the meantime, if you want to talk to us, we're all over the internet. Just I don't know, just Google us. We'll pop up, whatever. We're on Facebook, we're everywhere. I don't care. Friday,
live your life.
Enjoy yourself. Have a drink. Yeah, live your life. You don't want to listen to me rant for any longer. It's like nearly 40 minutes. What's going on? You're wasting your life.
No, don't say that.
No, do join us again on Monday. Like, if you're this far, it's like a spiritual bond now. It's a contract.
Right, just
almost like a contract with the devil.
yeah.
Wait, you keep digging this hole, man. What's that?
Well, I go by many names. I'm John. I'm Lucifer.
Nick?
I have many monikers.
That's one, right? Scratch, I think.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, we will leave you now. Enjoy your weekend and see you again on Monday.
Next time, the debut of some dazzling decor, while a future crime queen gleans messages that are mean from her answering machine, which neon greeting will have Ben Kenobi weeping with joy. Drop in to find out on Monday. Same Batman, different Bat Minute.